But right at the top, we continue to chase the Nirav Modi story, bringing you every angle of one of the country's biggest bank frauds. The big breaking news coming in this evening. First of all, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has finally broken his silence on the Nirav Modi scam. Jaitley says the state will chase down the people who cheat. The Finance Minister said that the Punjab National Bank management had failed to check those who were delinquent. Jaitley also questioned what were the auditors doing while the episode was unfolding.
Any such system of banking really functions on trust. And that trust is inherent in the lender-creditor relationship. I think that relationship in India blurred itself out where a section, not so ethical a section, perhaps thought that it was not his responsibility to pay back. And therefore we had to come back with hard solutions. Till the last legitimate capacity of the state to really chase these people to the last possible conclusion to make sure that the country is not cheated.
Arun Jaitley is talking tough. We'll come back to that in a moment. But more breaking news now coming in on Nirav Modi. We are told that the diamond jeweler has sent an email to his employees in wake of a crackdown on his premises across the country. The employees have received an email from Nirav Modi a short while ago and have been asked to stay away from office. Mr. Modi has assured his employees, though, that their salaries will be paid to them on time. All the employees have also been asked to remain silent and not speak to anyone. That's not all. There's more breaking news that's coming in. Because we are also being told that Bank Employees Union has decided to raise a red flag after the PNB scam. The Employees Union has now said that there were no bank officers on board since 2014. The Employees Union now says the PMO Finance Ministry didn't act despite several letters, and the Employees Union is demanding a closure of the bank's board bureau and advises on the appointment of board members. So lots to talk about at the top. Our reporters are there in all the significant points. I have Rahul Srivastava, who's tracking the finance minister. Sahil Joshi has been tracking what's been happening with Nirav Modi's employees. And Anand Patel, our correspondent, is tracking the bank employees. I want to come to you, Rahul Srivastava. It's taken about a week for the finance minister to break his silence. I know he was in Saudi Arabia for a couple of days. But is the finance minister facing any heat at all within the government over this scam?
Rajdeep, I think the government is facing the heat now. I think after the third great escape of a fund fraud after Lalit Modi, Vijay Mallya, now Nirav Modi, the government eventually has realized that mere raids and seizures are not going to do the trick. This time around, it has to be much more if the negative perception which has built up has to be completely erased. And that is why you see an intense raid and seizure regime which has been unleashed. The government's first attempt is to get as much of assets in its clutches as far as Nirav Modi, Gitanjali, Gems, Mehul Choksi and others are concerned, so that that template of 11,400 crores, which is a millstone round the government's neck today, the government can eventually say, see, we have recovered X amount out of that 11,400 crores. The second perhaps is, I think the delay was also because I think somewhere the government was eventually trying to see that there is no involvement of a BJP man in this scam. And today the notices which have been sent to Anita Singhvi, the wife of Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, for a alleged payment of nearly 6 crore rupees for diamond jewels and jewelry from Nirav Modi's company, perhaps is a sign that the government's attempt also is to prove that it was a Congress's scam which it inherited. All this is a lot of politics going on beyond the economics of a huge bank fraud, Rajdeep.
Right.
But I think definitely the heat is on the government as far as these economic frauds in the country are concerned.
Let's then turn to Sahil Joshi, our correspondent from Mumbai, because Sahil, Nirav Modi has yesterday written to PNB. Today he now writes a letter to his employees saying, don't come to office, don't speak to anyone, but your salaries will be intact. Where is he going to get the money now to pay the salaries? That is really surprising because he had said in his letter to PNB that they jumped the gun. Otherwise, Nirav Modi would have paid all the claims raised by the other banks to the PNB. Secondly, today's email to the employees clearly says that do not worry, your salaries will be paid, because the employees have been asked to stay away from the offices. All the designers, the corporate office employees, the corporate communication employees have been asked to stay away from the office since the time CBI and ED have started searches at various places belongs to Nirav Modi. Now today it was clearly told to them not to come to office, but their salaries will be paid. It doesn't mention that since when they can start coming back to office and work. That has not been told to them, but their seniors have told them not to speak to anyone. They are so worried, they are so scared that they are not even talking to anyone off the record. So that is what is the position at this point of time at Nirav Modi's various offices. And it's very clear that Nirav Modi has been promising not only to the banks but also to his employees that their salaried will be paid at any point of time, because he had so much of stock. That's what he's been telling the PNB officials as well. In fact,
right.
On 16th of Jan,
Sahil, I just want to go.
Right.
I also want to for a moment go to our correspondent Anand Patel, because Anand is also bringing other big breaking news that the bank unions now are trying to escalate their agitation against the government, claiming that the government has been running the PSU banks poorly. Now, Anand, what exactly are the bank employees saying? Are they simply trying to exploit this situation to their advantage?
Well, absolutely not, because the banks have been red flagging this issue right since 2015. Ever since the Modi government came into power, they've not appointed a single officer director or workman director in the boards of these PSUs. All these posts are lying vacant since 2014, and these officer directors or workman directors which are appointed in the boards of these banks work as watchdogs. Now, in the absence of these directors, the other directors who are virtually nominated, by the political masters have a free play, and that's the reason why these unions are saying that had the officer director been there, they would have red flagged. Remember, Punjab National Bank officer director post is vacant since June 2016. So that's the reason why the unions are raising this issue, that they've written letters to the Prime Minister, not once but twice, flagging this issue, but they've been unheard of. And also they are also demanding that the Bank Board Bureau headed by ex-CAG chief Vinod Rai should be dismantled because it has failed to deliver the good governance in the public sector banks for which it was meant for.
Right. Okay, let's leave it there. We're getting all those updates from our reporters, and remember, we will continue to have much more of our reporters from now on the 9 p.m. news. We want to get away from the noise and focus on the news for once. And the news at the moment also which is coming is that more arrests have taken place in the Nirav Modi case. Now they include his CFO and they include also employees of his uncle Mehul Choksi's company. So it appears that the government is slowly at least getting tougher and tougher trying to encircle Nirav Modi. Meanwhile, there are still several questions. How much money did Nirav Modi actually run away with? How will the government get that money back? The finance minister today had no answers to those questions. All he is promising is that strict action will be taken against the accused. Let's give you an update of all that's been happening in the Nirav Modi scam.
The finance minister finally breaks his silence on a scam that has shaken the foundations of India's banking sector. Arun Jaitley has reassured the nation and pledged stern action will be taken against Nirav Modi and the gang who fled after allegedly committing a fraud worth 11,400 crore rupees.
I think that relationship in India blurred itself out, where a section, not so ethical a section, perhaps thought that it was not his responsibility to pay back. And therefore we had to come back with hard solutions.
Hit by three great escapes by fund frauds, Lalit Modi, Vijay Mallya and now Nirav Modi, the government is threatening tough action. Already there are signs that Nirav Modi may not pay up, may not even return back to India to face the law. The government's action has to be much beyond seizures and raids. It has to do more to negate a rising public perception.
Absconding diamond czar Nirav Modi, however, is playing the victim card. He's written a letter to the Punjab National Bank which sounds more like a snub than any remorse. He claims the money he owes the bank is less than 5,000 crore rupees. Nirav Modi has blamed the Punjab National Bank for bringing the scam out in the open and thus shutting off his options to repay the loan. India Today has accessed the letter he wrote. He claims that in anxiety to recover the dues immediately, despite his offer, the Punjab National Bank's actions destroyed brand Nirav Modi and has now restricted the bank's ability to recover the dues. He also says the erroneously cited liability resulted in a media frenzy which led to an immediate search and seizure of his assets. The Punjab National Bank is working on a plan to recover its money. Sources say the bank is planning to take over collaterals and cash the credit by Nirav Modi.
Sources says bank may recover loans against credit letters in case of default or may take over the collateral and cash credit of Nirav Modi, or bank may also seize movable and immovable properties of Nirav Modi.
As more skeletons tumble out of Nirav Modi's closet, Income Tax Department has unearthed a cash for jewellery scam allegedly run by the billionaire during demonetization. It has also served a notice to senior Congress leader Abhishek Manu Singhvi, whose wife allegedly bought diamonds worth 6.5 crore rupees, for which 5 crore rupees was paid in cash. Nirav Modi's letter and his reluctance to come out in public indicate the businessman is digging in his heels for a long legal fight ahead. Bringing Nirav Modi to justice will be easier said than done. With Virendra Singh Gunawat, Sahil Joshi, Mustafa Sheikh and Rahul Srivastav, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's raise some of the big questions tonight. Is the money owed by Nirav Modi to the banks as good as gone? How much does Nirav Modi actually owe the banks? Is Nirav Modi right in claiming that PNB overreacted? Can Punjab National Bank take 11,400 crore hit? And the big question, what can Punjab National Bank do to recover the money? Much of it is taxpayers' money that goes into our banks. Let's take a look at who's joining us. B.M. Agarwal, former auditor at Punjab National Bank, is with me. Mukul Gupta, senior partner, strategic advisor, GST, is joining me. Also joining me, Bejon Mishra, Consumer Affairs activist, Rajiv Dubey, managing editor, business at India Today. Appreciate all of you joining us. Before we go further, the accountability question. We've just heard 9 more arrests, Rajiv, have taken place, including senior employees of Nirav Modi's company, Mehul Choksi's company. The finance minister saying no one will be spared, but also passing the buck in a way to the auditors. Has the finance minister got a point like, don't blame us, blame the auditors, blame the Reserve Bank, we are acting against the employees of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi? Is that good enough to ensure accountability?
You know, the accountability starts at PNB and goes right up to the executive, right, of the nation. It's not as if you could say that, you know, this is only the responsibility of Punjab National Bank. There were internal auditors of Punjab National Bank. There are external auditors. There are auditors from the RBI which go and inspect the accounts of Punjab National Bank. And then there is the finance ministry eventually. So it's easy to say that, you know, auditors were involved. RBI has said that it has issued 3 warnings. The question is, what kind of warnings were these? Are these the kind of warnings that Home Ministry regularly issues to states and says that, you know, there's a you know, terror
So
attack?
it's passing the buck at the moment.
It looks like it's just, you know, throwing the ball and lobbing the ball at each other.
You know, it's interesting you're saying that, lobbing the ball at each other. I just want to bring you in at the moment, Mr. Agarwal, because you're an auditor at PNB. Should the board of PNB be sacked? Why should the PNB board be there? They are responsible. Who's going to take moral responsibility? We know that employees are being arrested of Nirav Modi's company. We know that PNB lower level officials have been arrested. Why doesn't the board get sacked tonight? They messed up.
See, I will tell you very clearly.
Ji.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Whenever there is any scam happens, whenever there is any scam happens, first always blame to the auditors. That is the normal idea for any ministry or whatever it may be. But what I want to tell, maybe the auditor may be culprit, but you cannot reach a conclusion without having an investigation. Okay, to blame any person is very easy. First, you see who are the culprits, how it can happen. You see, auditor can only check those things which are in the CBS system. See, if I will tell you rightly, tell me who has appreciated the auditor. If you are telling about all these schemes, have you heard the Jatin Mehta scheme? He has taken 6,800 crore from the country. And that time also, I told the management that this is not a normal NPA. This is a case of a fraud. Management was not believing on my statement. They say we have given an investigation report. Unless otherwise the investigation report is coming, we can't say it is a fraud.
Okay, so
You
you're
have made a
saying
simple provision of
you're
15%.
saying you
I
cannot
don't know.
prejudge.
It is a fraud.
I get your
because
point.
it
You're
cannot
saying
happen.
don't prejudge the auditors. I get your point. You're saying don't prejudge the auditors at this stage. However, the prima facie responsibility obviously will fall on the people who are supposed to ensure supervision and vigilance, which is the auditors. Now, Mukul Gupta, Senior Partner Strategic Advisor and a former ASG, tell me, who should be taking the responsibility today? Where does this buck stop? Can the Finance Minister say, look, it's the auditors? Can the RBI say they issued warnings? Where does the buck stop in this case?
Voice is not here.
Okay, you're not getting my voice clearly. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Where does the buck stop in your view? Who should be held accountable today?
It's very difficult to say at this moment because the case is under investigation. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
So I am telling that at this moment, since the case is under investigation, it is in the initial stages. It is very difficult to say who is actually responsible. I believe that it is a matter of failure of the system. It's a complete failure of corporate governance. The best practices has not been really adopted and implemented in the whole system.
The question, of course, is okay. Let's avoid the speculation for a moment till the investigation is complete. But what is clear, and this is what the letter yesterday of Nirav Modi made it very clear. Look, I'm not going to pay the money at the moment. You blew the whistle without giving me an opportunity to pay the money. He's virtually blaming Punjab National Bank, saying the scam is not 11,000 crores, it's much less, and I can pay back. I just want to understand, as a taxpayer in this country, I want to know, will Punjab National Bank, a public sector bank, get back the money? Or like with Harshad Mehta and other scam, the money will go away? How, as a consumer activist today, do you believe that should be the priority? Government must first get the money back?
Absolutely, Rajdeep. The point is, it's not only a joint responsibility, but the buck has to stop somewhere. For me, the buck stops on the elected representatives who legislate laws. You know, I have been always saying, you legislate a law to increase your salary 100% within minutes. All the political parties come together to do that. But you don't want to bring in a law which will be stringent on such actions or such criminals who run away and plunder our public money. Why is such laws not coming in our country where it is very stringent in the financial sector? I don't get an answer to that. And these elected representatives, cutting across political parties, you see, they would not come forward to catch the culprits because they are all conniving with them.
You know, so we are coming back to bank defaulters, because before the program today, you were explaining what China does.
Yes.
Tell the audience today what China would do if they were faced with a Nirav Modi-like situation.
So Rajdeep, what is required even in India is that as the gravity of the economic offense rises, the price you pay has to be proportionately prohibitive. And that's precisely what China does. It prevents you from taking up an airline ticket, it prevents you from getting promotions, it prevents you from getting loans, and that's the kind of thing that is required under law by a law.
But
in India,
don't we have a bankruptcy law now in place?
Bankruptcy law, what it does, you know, bankruptcy law just makes bankruptcy easier. if you have defaulted, it just makes bankruptcy easier. It is meant to clean up the system of banks and banks' balance sheets. It's not meant to make it prohibitive or make it prohibitive for you to make these offences. Economic offences need to be prohibitive for the offender.
And recovery of monies. The
Absolutely.
recovery of
You
monies
see,
is the key.
Rajdeep, you must appreciate that we can't compare ourselves with China. Let's understand that. Let's understand the global best practices in those countries where democracy is very prevalent. What happens? The law is so stringent, so severe, that these people, they don't allow them to transact again and come back to that business where they have defaulted. They make it easy for people who are genuine. You know, the habitual defaulters, they are blacklisted in such a manner that they can't come back to business again. But the people who are doing genuine business, you see, business can fail, but you have to be sure to understand which is genuine and which is not genuine. All are politically motivated. You see, all these loans, all these EUs, which are given, they're all given under pressure. You ask any bank manager, Rajdeep, they will confess to you.
And we have a situation in this country, Rajiv, correct me if I'm wrong, where many of the biggest bank defaulters are still in business, in fact getting fresh government contracts.
So,
they're getting them in defense, they're getting them in other areas to in some way try and help them. Governments are helping bank defaulters instead of ostracizing them.
Absolutely. Well, at least in the case of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, one thing that I must say, that they took a conscious call to prevent the existing defaulters from coming back and bidding for these companies. I think that was a very good decision.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
other than that, if you look at these people, they would have, they are
Though we
accused
are
of,
being told
they are
that some
accused
of them are bidding
siphoning
for
off
these
funds
companies through proxies.
through proxies, but the law is very clear. The law is very clear that you will not be able to, even if you are directly or indirectly backing that that offer will be
So
rejected.
what can you do? Given Nirav Modi's stand, saying that, look, I could have paid up had you not blown the whistle and now embarrassed by this money. What can you do to get back the money?
Any fraudster, this is the first trick in the fraudster's book, is that when the pressure on him increases, he will offer something which will make you think. And in the case of, if you look at Mallya's case, there was 6,000 crore of capital and 3,000 crore of debt. He offered to pay 3,000 crore in all and settle it. Now tell me which banker in the country, which general manager of the country, or which consortium of banks will be able to take a call on that. They'll be behind bars for their life if they do that. Even the Prime Minister of India cannot take a call on that.
So what if Nirav Modi tomorrow comes and says, look, I'm willing to strike a deal. I owe the banks 5,500 crores, which is what he roughly seems to be claiming. I can pay 2,500.
Yeah.
And then give me a year, 2 years to play the balance.
But I'll
What
tell
should
you,
the government
this is the best trick that every fraudster deploys, and you have to make sure that what he is claiming, you take his shares. You take the shares of the companies that he's saying that he will sell.
How do you force him to come back to this country? There is a question.
So you have to bring in a fast track law which will enable. You see, there are laws all over the world which can be replicated in India to bring them back, to make sure that
you're going to have to prove it's a clear case of fraud, extradite him, which should be
and criminal. You see, it has to be a criminal proceeding. He has to be declared an offender, a criminal offender.
We've seen that happen in the past, and yet people don't get extradited.
Our laws are not so friendly. Our laws are not so friendly. The laws have to be changed, and that has to come out of the parliament. The parliament has to sit immediately to understand how they legislate to bring this law.
Let me for a moment come back to you, Mr. B.M. Agarwal, because you're a former auditor at PNB. Let's get this very clear. While we are looking at Nirav Modi, what about the role of PNB? What about the role of the board? Don't you think, taking moral responsibility, at least the board should step down till such time as the investigation takes place? Otherwise, how is the investigation going to take place when the same people are the directors, the CMDs, the heads of the bank, who really also are accountable at some level for a scam which went on for 7 years of this magnitude?
Rajiv?
Yes.
Rajiv, first I will interfere that we don't know from which year it has started. See, it has started from the 2011. Now, if I blame the today's management, is it also correct? See, the problem is that unless the investigation is carried out, from which year it is going, how it is going on, because it is not coming in the system itself. In the CBS system it has never come. We don't know whether it has routed through the Vostro or Nostro account or not. Then how I can blame the present management to resign also? See, there should be some logic.
So is it fair? Is Mr. Agarwal making a fair point that it is unfair to blame the present management and hold them accountable?
No, Rajdeep, I don't agree. The point is, it is fair. I do agree it is fair to start
one by
from
one,
where.
please.
I agree that it is fair to start from where it started and how it started.
Yes.
But we also have to understand the seriousness in terms of surveillance, in terms of checks and balances, in terms of ensuring that this doesn't continue for so many years.
What about RBI's auditors? I mean, the finance minister today is raising questions of auditors. What about the RBI's auditors? What about the finance ministry's own financial systems, Rajiv? What about those officials? Should they be not made to take tough answers? We are, day after day, there are more arrests taking place of officials and employees of Nirav Modi. Now, I don't know how much those employees per se were accountable, but what about RBI's vigilance procedures? Should they not be looked at?
Even internal auditors, you know, the existing auditors within PNB, the board, the management which has actually has an oversight over that, and of course the RBI's auditors, if they were not able to figure out the fact that the Nostro account doesn't have a contingent liability equal to the LOUs that have been issued, I think that's a very grave error.
You know, we are reaching the stage, Mr. Gupta, where it appears that the law will have to be toughened in this country. Do you believe that the law has to get even tougher for defaulters or not?
Yes, absolutely. The law needs to be tougher. The law needs to be clear so that these type of fraud should not happen again. And the most important thing is that we must strive first of all to recover as much money as possible by taking such action, even though it may take time. But it would be better in the national interest to recover our money, the bank money, which is taxpayers' money.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy. This money, what we are talking about, what the government is talking of. First of all, there's a question mark over the
Shouldn't the country by now know how much of money has been lost?
Rajdeep, the second thing is that when you take over immovable assets and movable assets, there are lien on those assets of other banks. You know, there's a consortium that gives you loans on these, and these assets are mortgaged against this. It's not so easy to take those assets and say that, I'll pay off Nirav Modi's this against the Nirav Modi loan. It's not that easy at all. All of these will go into a whole process of getting these disentangled through the legal system, and that's a multi-year process.
And what my worry is, this is an election year. We will move on to the next big story, and then the story gets forgotten. Nirav Modi will become just another routine story.
But Rajdeep, I can tell you, people won't forget it so soon. And if they have to come back to power, they have to show certain very tangible outcomes. They have to show that money has come back to the country, and people who were culprits, they were caught and they were taken to task. And the laws has got changed. That's what I am again repeating, that when it comes to their vested interest, the parliamentarians' interest, they can pass a legislation in 5 minutes, cutting across party lines. When it comes to nation's interest, why do they take such a long time?
Okay, let's leave it there. I think there's plenty of food for thought tonight. We will continue questioning the entire manner in which this scam has unraveled and look for accountability and answers. My take: Nirav Modi's tough letter to Punjab National Bank is virtually a signal to the bank that he's neither remorseful nor is he going to pay up. He's almost saying, catch me if you can, which is why the time has come to ask the questions that go beyond the usual NDA versus UPA slugfest. If Nemo or Nirav Modi is not going to pay up, how does one recover the lost monies, and who will be held accountable for the obvious auditing failures? Do we go the China way and make it so tough for bank defaulters that doing future business becomes virtually impossible? The new bankruptcy laws have made life more difficult for bank defaulters, but they still don't seem to be a sufficient deterrent. The costs of scamming the system need to be greater for all concerned, which is why as a first step, the PNB board should be sacked and the RBI auditors be held accountable. The Finance Ministry also must take moral responsibility and provide answers as to why the scam remained undetected for so long. As for Nirav Modi, he should be made to face the courts in the country instead of sending unrepentant letters from a safe haven abroad. The Prime Minister has said on more than one occasion that he is a chowkidar who will guard against the corrupt. If Namo can't get Nemo back, then I'm afraid the Prime Minister's claim of zero tolerance against corruption will sound hollow. Chowkidars must surely be able to tell diamond merchants that the glitter doesn't last forever.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.